The conceited scholar who got his deserts. The smith's two older sons-in-law, as might have been expected, were on the side of Rabbi Shlomo, and indignantly decried the insolence of Chaim Shimon in having dared to make his attack on the scholarly lecturer. But Yitzchak Shaul, on the other hand, supported Chaim Shimon, saying that in Harki, such a conceited person as Rabbi Shlomo would have been dealt with in a different way. He told them of an occasion when a certain young scholar arrived in Harki, bearing testimonials from the Gaonim in Vilna and Brisk. His purpose in coming was to lecture the Jews of Harki, and in fact they all flocked to hear the brilliant young man about whose learning they had heard so much. His sermon, related Yitzchak Shaul, ran along the same lines as that of Rabbi Shlomo. That is to say, he boasted of his vast knowledge of the Torah and of his opinions, which he compared with those of the greatest scholars in Jewish history. Everyone listened to his discourse without interruption, but he was soon made to see the error of his ways. As soon as it became dark, just before the termination of Shabbos, he found himself being dragged into a small room in the Beis Medrash, and he received such a thrashing that he remembered it for a long time. He could not see who had attacked him, but he knew there were several young men who were dealing with him so thoroughly. Neither could he identify anyone by his voice, for none of them uttered a sound. As soon as he found himself alone, he picked himself up gingerly, nursing his bruises, and went in search of the Rav to tell him of the wicked assault upon his person. The Rav listened to his story and then said, "The beating you received must have been sent as a punishment to you for having spoken so lightly and disrespectfully when mentioning our great Torah scholars. And that is the way we ought to deal with this Rabbi Shlomo," concluded Yitzchak Shaul. Then he would learn the same lesson as the young lecturer about whom I have just told you. Yitzchak Shaul's brothers-in-law took no notice of his remarks, but Baruch felt an even closer bond with his friend than before. What a wonderful approach to reality was Yitzchak Shaul's, and this approach was the Hasidic one. This attitude became of the greatest importance to Baruch in his search for truth.